So earlier this week, I talked about bucket lists, and there's something that was kind of recent within the last 3 years that I added on my bucket list, and that was visiting Amsterdam during the tulip season so I could see the rainbow fields of various colors. So on Black Friday, I jumped on the internet, just being curious to look to see if there were any deals on hotel rooms in Amsterdam during tulip season. I had no idea whether, hotels even had Black Friday deals, but I did find an affordable hotel for 4 nights in Amsterdam during tulip season for just under 600 American dollars. Decent location, decent star rating, good reviews. So I booked it, and the great thing was I didn't put any money down, and if something happens and I can't go, there's free cancellation up to like 2 days before. I hope to take some amazing pictures of the tulips, so I've been looking at photo tips. So let's have a look at those tips that I've learned. Automatic function. So I want to get a little bit better with that. Instead of like just the point and shoot, the whole thing that I want to focus on right now mostly is how to like take a good picture. Just what are some easy things to do to take a good picture. So you're in luck. I have some tips for you. I'm going to share what I found. Ready? Let's look at them.
Going on. So many people.
I don't know if I'll be visiting more than one tulip location while in Amsterdam, but the number one location that I'm going to visit is called, let me see if I can say this right, the Keukenhof Tulip Gardens. Now their 2020 season is going to run from March 21st until May 10th. And every year the Keukenhof Gardens have a theme. And this year's theme is World of Color. So I don't know what that's going to entail. I'm just going to be so happy to be there. God willing, I hope that I can get there, that everything works out. But they have rows and rows of tulips. There's 800 different kinds, and they estimate 7 million tulips will be in bloom. So I think I'm going to get some spectacular pictures. So that'll be a perfect time for me to take my good camera.
I'd like to clarify, I have used my camera. I've taken some decent pictures, but it's always been on the automatic function.
So the first tip that I came upon was using your camera's grid feature and using the concept of thirds. So that grid line, I think it gives you 9 boxes. You use the rule of thirds. So everything should be in proportion, I think vertical and horizontal. So you find your subject, you frame your photo, you look at the frames, and voila, you take the picture. I hope that I can be that disciplined, because oftentimes I'm just like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. So we'll see. I'll let you know how that one works out. The second tip that I found was focus on a subject. Find one subject and focus on that. That's difficult for me to do because oftentimes I'm very excited to be in a new place and I'm overwhelmed with sights and sounds and scents that I'm just like taking photos of everything. And I have gotten lucky with a couple of photos that I've taken. I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. But that was strictly by luck. The tip is to find one subject, frame it, focus on it. For example, if you're gonna, like, I know I took a good picture in Amsterdam actually. I loved the view of the canal and the buildings and the bike, so I got up close to a bicycle and I took a picture of like the back end of the bicycle, I believe. And then everything else was behind it. And I took that great picture because there's a photographer doing the same thing first. So the third tip that I came across was embrace negative space. Now, what does that mean? Okay, for example, if you are going to photograph a delicious plate of food, you don't put it on a table with a bunch of other dishes, where it's just going to kind of get drowned in the chaos of what's going on around it. Instead, you clear the table, you put your plate of food, and you take a picture of that with the negative space around it. So you try to like clean it up. So I guess maybe your subject is more visible. what's the word I'm looking for? But yeah, so that is embracing, that's an example of embracing negative space. The next tip that I read about was find a different perspective. So instead of just point and shooting everything at your level, get on something high, stand on your tiptoes, bend down, be at eye level. Different ways, you know, different heights, different perspective, maybe a side view, you know. So change that up. It's going to change the look of your picture. And I'm saying all these like I'm a pro. They're all just things that I'm trying to remember and take notes on so I can, is playing with reflections. And I've seen a lot of these photos on Instagram, and I love reflection photos. Maybe it's just rained and there's a puddle of water, and then you have a building in the reflection, or you have some lights reflecting in there. Take a photo of the reflection, or incorporate the reflection of the water into your photo, or a mirror, or you know, a reflection in a glass building. But play with reflections. You can have a lot of fun. I hope I'll have a lot of fun. I hope I find reflections. I hope I can take one picture of every single one of these tips that I'm talking about, but we shall see. Time will tell. Next, look for symmetry. And symmetry is defined as a vague sense of harmonious and beautiful proportion. A picture that contains symmetry is like equal parts. So I'll have to show you examples of symmetry. I don't think I'm gonna be able to explain that with my words. But if you're taking a picture of me in a forest, maybe you see a line of trees on each side of me, which are equal. So one line of trees behind me and me. Maybe that's symmetry. I don't know. I'm going to Google image search. I was happy to read about this tip, and it was play around with color blocking, because I've done this. And what I did was I took a really cool photo of when I was in Ireland, and it was this man dressed in a leprechaun costume. Hi, Nuka. And it was him on the street talking to another guy, and there was so much busyness on the street going around. I snapped the photo, but what I did at home was I took out all the color and I made it black and white, and then I went back and focused on the leprechaun and just like added the color to him. That way your subject was visible. So I have experience with this one. I do like that one. I will do that one again. The next one I have for you that I'm learning as well is avoid zooming in. Now this is one that I always struggle with, like, should I zoom in or shouldn't I zoom in? Now, the professionals say do not zoom in, because when you zoom in, the picture becomes distorted and pixelated, and it isn't as crisp. And that's kind of been like my thinking too, but maybe I didn't know it. If you want to crop the picture later on, you can, but you keep that crispness. You're not gonna have it pixelated, and you're not gonna have it looking like a lesser quality image. So avoid zooming in. Nuka. So the last tip that I'll leave you with today that I'm learning is be non-conventional. So try to say something, express some thought, evoke some emotion through your photo. Make whoever's looking at your photo wonder, what was she thinking? Or what was he doing? Or what were they trying to show me? So I'll try to play with that. So I'm gonna probably stop this video and I'm gonna try to do that and show you. Ready?
Ansel Adams once said, "A good photograph is knowing where to stand." You don't have to be Ansel Adams to take a meaningful photograph. If you want, try some of the tips I just shared with you. I will be trying to remember and incorporate these tips to my own photographs. Until next time, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. To watch a new video tomorrow, hit the subscribe button. Until next time, thank you.